Hi, first graders. Today for Writer's Workshop, our lesson is called How Do You Feel? We are going to be adding feeling words to our personal narratives. Here are some feeling words. You might be writing in your story, you might hear these words in other stories, and you can tell by looking at the face that this person here is not happy. So this one is worried, confused, angry, silly, sad, excited, surprised, and happy. So feeling words are going to add lots of details to these personal narratives that we have been working so hard on. This is what our personal narrative needs to have. Well, look, we have a beginning already, a middle, and an end because we've been working so hard on writing these stories. Our stories tell who and what and when and where. But now we need to add feelings to our story. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This book is one of my favorites. It's a great book that's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And this book is going to be a lot of feelings. But to review everything that this book has, we're also going to take the other parts of our personal narrative and talk about those too. So for instance, where I wrote tells who, we can already tell by this title who this book is about. Yep, his name is Alexander. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Here's our story beginning. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I mean, look at him. He just does not look happy at all. So we have our who, right? This is Alexander. When? Let's think about this. He's in his room. He wakes up. So it says, I got out of bed this. Yep, morning tells the when. And what is happening? Well, he tripped on his skateboard. He dropped the sweater in the sink. So we already can see things that are happening here. Now we have feelings already. This is only page 1. So look to see what I underlined. It says, I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Well, of all of our words, let's think. Worried, confused, angry, silly, sad, excited, surprised, and happy. What do you think would be the best word here to describe how he's feeling? Yep, definitely sad and angry, right? I think he can be a little bit of both, but let's see what else happens. We're still in the beginning, and now let's see if we can figure out where our story is happening. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. Something else that's not going his way. And where are they? Yep, they are in the kitchen now. I think I'll move to Australia. Well, look at his face. Look at your feeling words. How is he feeling? You're right. He is definitely not happy or excited about that. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window, too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. We have more feelings. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. More feelings. We have another where. It's changed. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. So where are they? And you would think maybe because he's at school, things are going better for him, but nope. At singing time, she said, I sang too loud. At counting time, she said, I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Look at his expression there. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moya was his next best friend and that I was only his third best friend. So we have the middle of our story now. They're at school. Lots of things are happening. How do we know what these feelings are? Talk about that for a minute. How do we know? You're right. Think about what the characters have said. They've said things that would hurt his feelings. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. Well, now, I really don't think that he's sad anymore. I think he's more what? If you said angry, you are right. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? What do you think he feels about not having the dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Now look at the picture for clues. What do you notice about this picture? Yep, I noticed the way he's sitting. If somebody's sitting like this, they're usually not very happy. He's looking down. His expression, he's not smiling. That's what it was. Because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And, well, look at this picture now. How is he feeling now? Yeah, if you said he's hurt in addition to being sad and mad, that's actually another very good feeling. While I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. So now they're in a new place. They're in the shoe store. Things are still not going his way. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. So we know what he's feeling by what he's saying in his story and by the events that are happening in the story. Now we're at the story ending. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. And we definitely know that's the end because he is asleep, finally, to end his day. So I have another story here, which is called My First Bike Ride. And the reason why I have this story is it's an example of a personal narrative where there could be feelings or we could add feelings in. So let's take a look at this story for a minute. This is what it says. A long time ago, when I was 5 years old, I learned how to ride a bike. We were on the sidewalk in front of my house. I was scared but excited. My dad was there to help me and keep me safe. I stepped onto the pedal and boosted myself onto the seat. I started pushing the pedals round and round. My dad let go. I was doing it. I was really riding a bike. I felt so happy with the wind in my hair. Finally, I came to a stop, jumped off my bike, and gave my dad a big hug. That was such a great day. Well, hold on. All right. This is the total opposite story of what we just read about Alexander. This one is so different. Well, let's look for a minute. How did he feel in the beginning of the story before he rode the bike? Before, that's right. It says, I was scared but excited. He wanted to learn to ride, but he felt scared. That's a feeling word. But after he was doing it, he told us how he felt. How did he feel afterwards? Yep, there it is. It says, I felt so happy with the wind in my hair. So in this story, this author has given us different feeling words, and his feelings changed from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. Next, you're going to help me with this one. This is called The Pet Store. We have a beginning, middle, and end. It says, one sunny day, I went to the pet store. I saw fish, cats, and birds. Finally, I got the pet for me, my dog Chip. If you're going to the pet store and you get to pick out a pet, how would you feel about that? What word would you say that you felt? So I picked this word. I bet you did too. It says, I felt excited. Of course you'd feel so excited if you got to go to the pet store to pick out your very own pet. But we need to say why. Because when we talk and we write in our stories, we want to tell why we're feeling a certain way. Just like with the kid that rode the bike, we know why he was happy because he accomplished his goal. So I felt excited because, think for a minute, why would you feel excited? And at the end, it says, finally, I got the pet for me, my dog Chip. So I finished this sentence. I felt excited because I was going to pick out my very own pet. Does that make sense to you? Absolutely. So today you have a paper that looks like this. This is what you're going to write a feeling sentence about that goes along with how you felt in your story. You're going to make a face because we could see in the story that we read that Alexander was not happy at all. He had a frown. Well, the face that I put on was a smiley face. And I wrote this sentence. I felt blank because blank. So if you'd like to, you can pause the video here and you can use the sentence starter to talk about how you felt in your story and use the word because to tell why. Thank you, first graders. When you're done, you can submit your story back so we can see what you wrote, or you can send it back to us so we can add it into your writing. Bye.